Round two of the holiday special elevated side dishes. We're making buttermilk chive, Parmesan crusted mashed potatoes, and candied yams with mascarpone cheese and maple syrup and pecans. Let's get cooking with style. To get this started, peel the potatoes, cube them into 1 to 2 inch squares, put them in cold water, and turn the heat on high. To that I add a bouquet, which is thyme and bay leaves, heavily salted, and add the garlic. The yams are put into cold water, turned on high, and heavily salted. Potatoes are done. Let's get this little bouquet out because that's not going to be part of the mashed potatoes. We're going to leave the garlic in there. I'm going to strain these off so we get rid of as much of the water as possible. And make sure none of that garlic comes sneaking out of there because that's going to be part of that mash. See that one right there? I almost tried to get away. All right, I'll put this back on the stove, heat off, lid off to let the moisture evaporate out. Yams are done, but we're gonna make smashed, not mashed yams, so we're just gonna hit this gently. We're not gonna totally mash these down, we're just gonna break them up a little bit. And then we're gonna move them from this stock pot into a nice little baking dish. And we'll move these in like so. And from here, we're gonna dress these up a little bit, spread them out in that baking dish. And you see how they're still nice and chunky, but there's a little bit of creaminess in there? This will take a little bit of brown sugar and sprinkle that over the top. And then on top of this, now you're saying, okay, here come the marshmallows. No, we're not gonna go with marshmallows. We're gonna go with some mascarpone cheese. This is gonna take a little bit for me to put this on top. So when I'm done, we'll pop this in the oven. Let's get these yams in the oven, but first I'm gonna pull out my roasted carrots, which I have to say look pretty darn good. In goes the yams. Those will be coming out in just a bit. Everything's ready to go. We took out that little bouquet of bay leaf and thyme, and now we're gonna mash our potatoes. But if you want creamy, smooth potatoes, you need a ricer like this. However, most of us don't have one of these. The only reason I have one is because I make gnocchi. So we're gonna do this based on the fact that most people mash their potatoes with this, a masher. I've got about 2 tablespoons of butter in there, and I'm gonna mash this up really, really creamy. Don't use one of those whippers, because what happens when you use one of those automatic whipping machines, it takes the starch and stretches it out, and it makes the potatoes gooey like glue. Give me a minute to get everything nice and smooth. Potatoes are mashed. Now it's time to put the finishing touches on. I've got my freshly chopped chives. Those will go in there, and our buttermilk. Now make sure you shake this up before you put it in, and start off with just a little because you can always add more, but you can't take it out. And we don't want these too creamy. Once we get this mixed in, and you can see the potatoes were really nice and fresh, so there was already a nice creaminess to it. The buttermilk's gonna add a little bit of a tang to this, and then what I want you to do at this point is take your finger and take a little taste out and say a little more salt, a little more pepper. For me, because I heavily salted my water, I don't need to salt this anymore. So from here, we're gonna put our potatoes into our baking dish, and make sure you have a hot pad in case it's hot. And we're just gonna go ahead and put those right in our baking dish. And this is hot, so give me just a second to work with it. And we're gonna take this, spread it out in our baking dish. And we're gonna want these little peaks and valleys, because what that's gonna do is that's gonna give a place for the Parmesan cheese to stick to. So when we put it under the broiler, it's gonna get nice and crusty and brown. It should be really good. In the oven this goes for just a few minutes. So for the last few minutes, what I want you to do is go ahead and throw your broiler on. That's gonna brown up the top there. But the trick here is don't take your eye off of this, because you don't want to ruin all the work you've put into this. So the broiler's been on for about 4 or 5 minutes. Everything's looking good. There are the mashed potatoes, and here are the candied yams. These are super hot, so make sure you have hot pads. So we didn't deviate from tradition. We have mashed potatoes, but buttermilk mashed potatoes with a Parmesan glaze and chives, and then candied yams. But what we did that's a little bit different Check this out, the pecans with maple syrup. You drizzle that over the top and serve that up. We're talking cooking with styles elevated for the holidays. If you'd like these recipes and more, I've got them on our website, cbs8.com/recipes. Happy holidays.